Excellency, distinguished participants, I'm pleased to join you today for the opening of UNIDO's annual conference on women in industry and innovation. The conference is organized in a very challenging social and economic context caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, where the whole world is facing one of the worst economic crises of this century and the one before. Markets and supply chains have been disrupted, business were closed, and millions of people around the world have lost or unfortunately will lose their jobs and livelihood. Crisis has shown that the most vulnerable and marginalized population, among which women are always the most impacted. When COVID-19 has severely paralyzed business around the world, the brunt on women in business is even more important to note, as women-owned business tend to be concentrated in sectors with a lower profit margin than those of men. As the most of them are overrepresented in sectors hardest hit by the crisis, as self-employed and informal workers with little or no social protection to fall back on. The impact on them is expected to be more severe. The situation is particularly critical in lower and upper middle income countries, where 56% of women work in high-risk sectors, compared to 39% for men. We have all seen the key role played by women during the pandemic in the health sectors, doctors and nurses, in retails, in the food supply chain, and especially in our supermarkets and grocery stores, and I believe they will play a critical role as well in helping companies and countries bounce back faster from this virus-induced economic crisis. This is why I believe it is important that gender equality should be at the center of COVID-19 responses and recovery measures. We at the Union for the Mediterranean has always put gender equality and women empowerment at the heart and center of our strategy and all of our activities. This very important political objective has been endorsed, confirmed by all of our member states, the 43 member state countries, through several declarations on strengthening the role of women in society, on employment and labor, in industry, and also in innovation. And our foreign minister have tasked us in 2017 to work towards achieving those goals, and our agenda addresses this challenge at many levels. At the political level, of course, through all our sectorial ministerial conference, in terms of employment, trade, industry, transport, which constitute the policy framework for the work we do here at the Union for the Mediterranean. We do it also with a multi-stakeholders approach within an array of platforms of dialogue in order to move gender equality agenda forward, involving of course, governments, regional and international stakeholders, but most importantly, the civil society and all who are working to achieve the goal of women empowerment. We do also try to monitor the commitment of our governments and to facilitate the exchange of information, experience, to create synergy and look for good practices and opportunity between key actors involved in the field of women empowerment. We also try to build strategic partnership with relevant regional and multilateral organizations. The objective, of course, is to better coordinate and mutualize efforts that promote women empowerment in order to maximize our impact in this very important policy area. By supporting concrete projects and initiatives which efficiently and effectively contribute at the local level to the enhancement of women empowerment, and also by promoting a horizontal approach to mainstream gender equality within all the UfMS activities and initiatives. To conclude, I would like to say that when we look to the future and look into how we're going to rebuild our economies, it is absolutely critical to recognize that investing in women and creating a gender-equal business ecosystem is the greatest opportunity for our countries and for our social peace and security. Putting women at the heart of our response to this pandemic means we see a leap in progress in every and at every level. And for that, governments and private sectors need to pool further efforts and to work together to overcome the crisis. To quote Nelson Mandela in his inauguration speech in 1994, he said, and I quote, "None of us, by acting alone, can achieve success." Thank you very much for participating in this very important conference, and I wish you all success.